How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the LAIR. And today we are going to be trying a standard best of one deck. I call this Insatiable Swarm. It's basically like a Death Touch tribal. Getting into the one drops, we're running 4 copies of Knight of the Ebon Legion for 1 swamp, 1/2. We can pump him for 2 colorless and a swamp, and he gets +3/+3 until the end of the turn and gains Death Touch. And then at the beginning of your end step, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Knight of the Ebon Legion. And that goes for you as well. Onto the 2 drops, I have 2 copies of Boot Nipper for 1 colorless and 1 swamp. He's a 2/1 and he comes into the battlefield with our choice of either a Death Touch or a lifelink counter. I have 1 copy of Chevill, Bane of Monsters for 1 swamp and 1 forest. He's a 1/3 Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponent control no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. And whenever a permanent an opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. 1 copy of Fiend Artisan for any combination of 2 swamp or 2 forest. He's a 1/1. Fiend Artisan gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. And then we can pay X in either a swamp or a forest and tap and sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So onto our 3 drops, we have 3 copies of Pestilent Spirit for 2 colorless and 1 swamp. He's a 3/2 menace, Death Touch, and instant and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch. Not really going to be worrying about that part of it. 2 copies of the Embodiment of Agonies for 1 colorless and 2 swamps. He's a 0/0 flying and Death Touch. An Embodiment of Agonies enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. 3 copies of Leyline Prowler for 1 colorless, 1 swamp, 1 forest. Death Touch lifelink, and we can tap him for any color mana. 2/3. 3 copies of the first Iroan games for 2 colorless and 1 forest. The first part of the saga says, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token, which we can sacrifice to the Fiend Artisan. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. The third part of the saga says, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw 2 cards. And then we can create a gold counter in the final part of the saga, which we can tap for any color mana. On to the 4 drops. We have 3 copies of Insatiable Hemophage for 3 colorless and 1 swamp. He's a 3/3 Death Touch, but we can mutate him for 2 colorless and a swamp, and whenever this creature mutates, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where this is the number of times this creature has mutated. So we'll usually be trying to cast this for its mutate cost and not the actual mana cost of the card. I have 1 copy of Dirge Bat for 2 colorless and 2 swamp. He's a 3/3 flash flying, and we can mutate him onto a creature for 4 colorless and 2 swamp. And whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. 3 copies of Questing Beast for 2 colorless and 2 forests. He's a 4/4 vigilance, Death Touch, haste. Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. And whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target planeswalker that player controls. 2 copies of Boneyard Lurker for 2 colorless and 1 swamp and a forest. He's a 4/4. We can mutate onto another creature for 2 colorless and any combination of 2 swamp or 2 forest. And when this creature mutates, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. That includes planeswalkers and also the enchantment. Polukranos, 1 copy. Unchained, 2 colorless, 1 swamp, 1 forest. He's a 0/0. He enters the battlefield with 6 1/1 counters on it. It escapes with 12 +1/+1 counters on it. And if damage would be dealt to Polukranos while it has 1/1 counters on it, prevent that damage and remove that many counters. And then we can pay 1 a swamp and a forest, and Polukranos fights another target creature. And then later on we can escape him for 4 colorless, a swamp, and a forest, and exile 6 other cards from your graveyard. 3 copies of Vivien, Arkbow, Ranger for 1 colorless and 3 forests. We have She comes in at 4 loyalty. We can plus her and distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 2 targets, and they gain trample until the end of turn. We can -3. Target creature you control deals combat damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker, and if that creature has Death Touch, even if it has a lesser value, it will still kill that creature. Now obviously we can't Death Touch the planeswalkers, that would be awesome. And then her -5 ability says, choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand. I do have a sideboard of cards. I don't know how much we're going to use it, but we'll see. 3 copies of Vraska, Swarm's Eminence for 2 colorless and any combination of 2 forest or 2 swamp. She comes in with 5 loyalty. And whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals damage to a player or planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. And then -2, we can create a 1/1 Black Assassin creature token with Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to a player or planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. Sorry, alright. A little weird wording there. And then at the top end, we have 1 copy of Nethroi, Apex of Death. For 2 colorless, 1 plane, 1 swamp, 1 forest. He's a 5/5, Death Touch, lifelink. But if we don't have that white to play him, we can mutate him on to another creature for 4 colorless, a forest, and 2 swamp. And whenever this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then onto our... well, let's talk about the deck. So it's Death Touch tribal. Most of the creatures have Death Touch, so we're just going to want to try and keep pushing in, or if the opponent has some very overwhelming creatures, we'll hold some back for blocking. I have 2 copies of the Embodiment of Agonies for our flying enemies to deal with. We have Ramp in Leyline Prowler. We have card draw in the first Iroan game, as well as Chevill. Insatiable Hemophage also gives our creatures Death Touch that don't have them, like Fiend Artisan and Knight of the Ebon Legion. Also gains us a bit of life. Dirge Bat, if we can mutate it on, can start destroying creatures or planeswalkers. Questing Beast kind of ties the whole thing together by making combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. So that helps with the Death Touch aspect. Boneyard Lurker to recur any of our threats, including our enchantments and our planeswalkers. 1 copy of Polukranos, help protect our board and fight maybe flying creatures that we can't control on the ground. And if we have a Vivien Arkbow Ranger, we can just keep giving him counters so he can keep fighting and fighting and fighting. Also can stack counters on an Embodiment of Agonies that's a little weak. And then the Vraska Swarm's Eminence kind of gives us a payoff for playing our Death Touch creatures. And then Nethroi, because it's an amazing card, Death Touch lifelink for 5. And then we can mutate it for 7. But, you know, shouldn't be a problem with our ramp and our... well, both of these cards are technically ramp. But yeah, that's basically the idea behind the deck. Let's get into the mana base. I chose 3 Castle Locthwain, 5 Swamps, 8 Forest, 4 Overgrown Tombs, and 4 Indatha Triomes, just in case we want to hard cast Nethroi. Yeah, that's basically it. We're rocking the Elspeth's Nightmare sleeve. I have a 3.2 converted mana cost with 27 creatures, and we're running 24 lands. So let's go ahead and hop into some games and see how we do. As always, if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. It's free to you, and it helps the channel out so much. Also, feel free to tell a friend if they enjoy Magic as well. Also, please leave me a comment on any misplays or strategy or deck ideas. I read the comments daily. Other than that, thanks for watching. Curious to see how this does in this format. A lot of control floating around. Okay, so our first hand here, we have a nice 3-lander. I have a Knight, Questing Beast. Yeah, a little bit of a ramp. The triple mana cost Vivien kind of freaks me out, but maybe we do need to mulligan this with just just one source. I'm gonna be greedy though. 2 playable cards, 2 payoff cards. We'll keep it. Surely we'll draw a green mana before next 3 turns. Okay, so if this is mono red, I am going to wait to play my knight. Could be cycling. Looks like mono red. Opponent's still not playing anything. Okay. In that case, I'm going to play the Indatha. And we're still going to wait to play anything. So this does appear to be cycling of some sort. Or maybe it's not cycling? I don't know. Might as well wait one more turn, right? Opponent's really not doing much. Bone Crusher, okay. So this is mono red. Mono red fires. Well, now we can play the knight and then hold up the pump. Seems good. Torbrin, okay. Don't really mind just getting this out of the way here because I don't want to take 8 damage. Wait a second. Oh, he had the Bone Crusher. Well, oh well. Not really much else we could have done that turn. Have a 2 for here. Yeah, let's just get some fodder out there. And then next turn we can Vivien. I have never seen this particular style mono red. Interesting, okay. Cool. Don't mind trading there. Block here. We need to get bodies out there, right? So we'll do this. And this. Not much we could do there. Alright, let's hop into another one. Murot. Rocking the Agonies. Alright. So got a nice 3-lander here. We do have 2 green sources, which is nice. Got some Boot Nippers, a Fiend Artisan. Let's keep it. Another red. I'm just going to go ahead and play this out because the Fiend Artisan gets pumped for each creature that's in our graveyard. Yeah. Let's give him Death Touch. Opponent does have an Embereth in the firstborn, okay. No pumps. But next turn I'm coming in. Heartfire, cool. Oh, that's an interesting combo. I'll put this one out with Death Touch as well. Could have an Infuriate here. No, I'm good. Had something? Light up the stage. It's not looking good. Super deep. Bunch of Claim the Firstborns. After. Cool. Wow. Hop into another one. JPS 2611. Alright, so we've got a nice curve, but no black lands, so we cannot keep this. This is decent, I guess. We'll keep this. I think I want to get rid of... I think I get rid of the Pestilent here. I definitely don't want to miss a 1 and a 2 drop. So we're going to go ahead and play the Indatha here. Tapped. Yay, it's not mono red. Here we'll play our Boot Nipper. Death Touch. Next turn we will be playing another Indatha, since we don't have a 3-drop. Agonizing Remorse, that hurts. I think I want to take that thing out immediately, so...
Close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the wild. If I aim at their claws, you're done.
Okay. Spawn of Mayhem, nice. So I play Fiend Artisan here. First Iroan games here. And just do 2 here. I'm just gonna go in because I'm assuming our opponent's gonna be going after the Vivien. It's got that touch. Next turn we get to put 4 1/1 counters on one of our creatures, so he has to also worry about that. Spreading out our threats nicely. One plays in Johnny's Pride Mate. Duskfang Mentor, nice. Nice. Cool. Cool strategy. I have Death Touch. Okay.
Anger only gets me so far.
Put all the counters on him and play a here, and I think I'm just gonna go in for 6 here. Now you're starting to see the synergies with this deck. Okay, opponent plays a Healer's Hawk. About to draw 2 cards too off of the Iroan game. Another spawn, Jesus. Thanks, man. Okay, draw some cards. Gonna go ahead and play another Iroan game. And I think before I play Pestilent, let's see if he's gonna block my stuff. So we'll just go in with you and with you. Let's see what he does here. Good game. 8, 6, 7, 8. I forgot about the Spawn of Mayhem's ability. Oof. Okay, let's play another one. I liked how that game played out a little bit more. Wasn't just complete domination. Ugh. Not a competitive deck, just a fun deck for today. Been playing a lot of the ranked ladder recently, so trying to give my brain a rest. Also, one of my friends convinced me to try Runeterra, so I'm learning the basics of that game as well. Opponent Yomad. Yomad? You mad? Alright, so we got our double green to start. We got a nice little starter here. I think this is an excellent hand to keep. Opponent's blue-black, so let's get something on the board. And next turn we can play our Indatha tapped, and then play out another knight. Anticipate. All right. Very effective for us. Also negates our, let's go ahead and play out the Leyline Prowler. And also has a Blast Zone. Okay. Does with this. Wow. This guy is just going to town here. Just gonna go ahead and play the Insatiable here, so we don't have to take shock damage. I can have the Overgrown Tomb.
Surrender every morsel of fear.
Just gonna play the Insatiable Hemophage here. Opponent has to create a token this turn.
All your fears are given.
Line for due. Wow, this guy is on a roll here. Definitely am going to attack here. This guy's hitting the fucking jackpot.
You're delightfully friendly.
Wow, this guy is intense.
Your heroics are but a dream to me.
Alright, we got completely wrecked there. Well, guess there's no having fun in Magic anymore. Unless it's super competitive. Let's try another one. Alright, so we got a 3-lander here. I do have 1 green mana source. This looks decent. Oh look, mono red. Thank you, baby. No, get out of here. With the Dreadhorde Lurker. I'll have to make this trade here, unfortunately. But our opponent is definitely filling up our graveyard nicely for us. And a Stone Coil Serpent. Okay. Well. I'm gonna play Iroan games here. That way I can chump block the Dreadhorde again. We are gonna take some damage though. Doesn't go with the Dreadhorde, huh? Well, I don't know if that's worth blocking. And we're dead. Well, that was a quick one this evening. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys today. That was just a fun deck. Apparently, we got utterly crushed with all the mono red and into play, and not even in the ranked queue. But like always, thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. It's free to you, helps us out so much. Drop me a comment, talk about misplays or strategy or deck ideas, and if you have any friends that like Magic, make sure you tell them about the channel too. Until tomorrow, you guys have a good day, and thanks for watching.